Hey, welcome to Poochie's Place. Come on in, grab a drink, have a seat, chill out, and relax with me, your host, Dawn Monique. And today, I have Miss LaViv Younger in the house. LaViv is the owner of LaViv's Sweet Treats and Catering, and she's a certified personal trainer. Today, we'll be talking baking, fitness, entrepreneurship, and creativity in cake design because Miss LaViv is the best. So go grab a drink, get on back here, have a seat, and let's get this conversation started. Well, welcome back. Oh, thank you. Thank you for coming.
I'm glad to have it. Look, I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
So we going to introduce everybody to you because these cameras are on.
Oh, they're on now?
They are on.
Oh, okay.
So you are like a baker extraordinaire.
I guess.
Weight loss, fitness, guru.
Certified personal trainer. Yes.
Trainer. Like, when I met you, I said to myself, first, you did not look like this.
No.
You didn't look crazy, but you didn't look like. And I watched you from the first time in your driveway when you was
working out.
Oh, wait, doing the roast. I said, okay. But I had already known how great your cake was.
Mm-hmm.
I think if I would have bought a cake from you, I would be like, she ain't even eating that cake.
Look, she can't bake.
Yeah, she ain't eating that cake. But I know you eating that. I know that cake is delicious. And when I watch you make it, I'm like, I already know the cake is going to taste good. I already had the cake a couple of times. I know the cake's going to taste good. Now I'm looking into the creative design. Because a lot of people like the creative design, which is
the artistry of it.
But yours is kind of like I've watched people half-ass and everything. When I start watching your video that you've been doing lately, oh my goodness.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of time. It's a skill. It's a skill.
Yes, it is.
And it's patience.
Oh, yes, it is. And I'm running out of it.
I can tell, but you're doing it so, meticulous.
Because I always feel like anything worth doing is worth doing well. You know, anything that I'm going to put my name on, it has to be done right because it's my reputation. And not only that, I appreciate good quality stuff. And especially I charge enough where I feel like you deserve good quality stuff. So therefore, I am not going to half-ass it, as they say. I'm going to make sure that I've done my part. So if you complain or if you don't like it, well, I did everything I could.
And it is good. The cake that I got for my birthday party, that was the most expensive cake that I've ever purchased.
Oh, was it? And they even more now.
It was the most expensive cake that I ever purchased. I did purchase one that was a couple $100, but it was pretty on the outside, but it was not good. And when I talked to you, my sister referred you to me. Robin referred to you.
Oh, okay, Robin. Okay.
She referred you. And everybody was coming down my thread because I had asked for a baker. And she said, oh, my sister referred her. And I know she does parties and everything.
Right.
And I said, oh, I know. So it was no question, no nothing. You were very professional. You were straightforward. Like, this is that, this is this, this is what I need, this is what it's going to cost you. Do it this way, that way, that way. You pick it up, you carry it. I could deliver, everything.
Right.
In that first phone call, I was like, oh my God, you've already proven in that moment that you brought everything that you charge. In that moment, in that introductory moment. I was like, I don't know how much it's going to cost. I'm going to pay for this service right here. Like this treatment.
Because you know what? I just feel like, I always say this, you know, I've even said it in my videos. I feel like if you're going to spend a large amount of money with somebody, I feel like we are in a society where people are so impersonal. Everything is like, email me, send a text, send a smoke signal. No one wants to sit there and talk to somebody. And I feel like you deserve a conversation. I deserve to hear what it is that you like. I need to know what it is that you expect. And then once I get your information, then I can tell you what I owe you as well as a person providing the service. And I feel like the service starts from the moment we make a connection on the phone. And I always try to approach business, any business that I'm in a way where I give people the treatment that I would want from somebody. And I don't like people to handle me any kind of way. I don't like people for them to give me misinformation, or one of the things I even hate is that people are not even upfront with the price. You know, I'm like, the price is the price. Part of the reason why I do a consultation is because this is the price. I don't look like, aha, got you. I'm dealing with that now with somebody where they told me one price and now it's something else. So I always like to give you everything, all the information, what to expect. And then when I send out that invoice, you know, there's nothing recycling and biting you in the butt later. That's it. We've done it. So, and I like to, I want to be known as a professional. I feel like Black business owners, we get such a bad rap because so many of us just do the business, you know, and I feel like I want to run my business in a professional manner where people can say, you know what, that was really good. And also, not only that, be confident that when you refer me to somebody, that they're not going to look at you like you're crazy. Oh, you refer me to that LaViv, and it was a mess, or it was. So I feel like, I owe you, prime example, Robin referred you. So how crazy would it be if I handled you differently, or, you know, tried to get over you or scam you or not give you a good experience? I feel like I am providing an experience from the time we talk to the phone to the time you pick up or you have your cake delivered, so that you want to come back. I need customers. I need your referrals. You know, I've had people even tell me, even last year, I did business with this woman, and it kind of hurt my feelings, and my feelings don't get hurt often, but it hurt my feelings because I needed help with one of the services that she gave me. And I had inboxed her, emailed them, and they weren't responsive. So she was doing a live, and I reached out to her live, and I was like, hey, you know, I've been trying to reach her, and I haven't been able to get into the Facebook group. I can't even remember what it was, but she ripped me on live, and then had the nerve to say, and you know, I don't care about people's money, and the customer's not always right. And I mean, just the way she handled me was so, and it put such a bad taste in my mouth that even though I spent my money on some of her services, I didn't use it, and I never went back, never referred anybody to it. So my thing is, I never want anybody to have that experience with me. Yes, customers are important. Now, don't come at me crazy, but I do believe in exercising a certain amount of patience because, you know, sometimes people just don't know. I don't believe in stupid questions. And then the other thing is, again, I don't want you walking away like that. That was really like, ugh. Like, I don't want that to be the experience. So I try to make sure that people walk away feeling like, okay, even if you didn't like the cake. All right, fine. Even you weren't happy. I'm even the type of person, if you weren't happy with the service, or just like recently I had a customer, I guess I was so tired, even though I had the name spelled right on the invoice, I spelled it wrong on the cake. And so I ate that. And I was like, you know, I was apologetic. Thank God it was a regular customer, but I was like, I'm sorry about the end. In addition to, I will give you a free cake. Because I want you to understand that, you know, I understand that was my mistake. It was my fault. I stand on my business. So I messed up. So the least I can do is gift you something for everything not being the way it was supposed to be. So, you know, those are just the kind of things that I picked up. You know, I've been in business going on 10 years now. I'm hitting double digits, even though I'm ready to leave. But, you know, I just try to make sure that customers walk away feeling good. Yeah, with the money that they spend.
And a great tasting cake.
That especially. Yes.
So it's like it's a triple whammy because it's the experience, customer service, and that definitely determines how longevity in business.
Right.
You know, so the good thing is like you just want to retire from it. You're not like
being forced out. No, and they will not let me retire. They
I was
won't
about
let
to say
me.
the same thing.
They are not letting me just die this business in peace.
Like, you just like I don't know how you. Were you at art school?
I went to arts high school, yes. But I went to school for fashion. And it's funny because...
It's kind of the same. Yeah, you said on the cake, you said, I got to make sure to see me up.
Yeah.
I was watching them videos.
You are.
I said, oh, shit, look at that. Oh, look. Look, I was watching them videos. Because those are important details.
Right.
I'm not a baker. I don't do none of that stuff, but I know the details. And those are important.
It is.
It's not sloppy looking. It's not like overlapping and all that. And I said, I hope people are watching this. I hope you need to teach.
So that is funny because that is once they let me just die in peace with this business. I do want to teach. I do want to teach other bakers or even people who just want to just kind of put hands on. Like, let's say you want to do a party with some friends and you want to learn some of the ins and outs. Yeah, that is what I'm graduating to. So
that's a whole new concept.
Yeah, I'm graduating into. I want to do cake decorating parties.
Oh, that's
children's decorating parties. But so this is why I'm trying to get one business. I'm trying to close it up on a nice little.
I don't think you ever gonna see
like this, like getting the crumbs.
You had to do a cake, and I know this was my.
No, but I said I was gonna do. Even with the personal training business, I did say I will do probably one cake a week because I wanted to kind of just feel like, fun. Mm-hmm. But my heart is not in it anymore. I'm always going to put out a good tasting cake and a great product because anything worth doing is worth doing well, but I'm not in love with it anymore. It feels like a job. And anything that feels like a job, I feel like it's time to retire it. I want to go into other things. I want to do decorating, parties. I am a hot mess. I'm a little crazy. Yes, I want to do like cake decorating parties and children's parties and things like that.
You brought this cookie over here.
I did bring that cookie. I did. That banana pudding cookie.
And I'm sitting over here and see, this is the difference between me, you, and 100,000 other me's and you.
Mm-hmm.
Discipline.
Mm-hmm.
It's the discipline. Not to go over there, get that cookie.
But I bought it for you, so if you want to get the cookie.
I need to eat. Like, I know in my mind. I'm like, you gotta eat. You should eat. Because I would tell the kids, don't you eat that for you?
But you eat food, right?
Right? So that's what I'm telling myself. That's the only reason I'm back on to.
But I'm a bad mom because I bake and my daughter is like, Mommy, like, for example, I made some chocolate chip cookies last night for order. And she was like, are you taking those? Does that belong to a customer? I'm like, no. She's like, can I have them? I'm like, you get 4 cookies. That's it. Don't touch those cookies.
That's good enough for me, man. 4 cookies.
4 cookies. Yep. So,
oh my goodness.
But everything. So even on like a health kick and indulgence, I do believe that we deserve to treat ourselves. I just think people don't know when to stop. Like, it is a matter of, instead of, if you buy a bag with 10 cookies, it does not mean you have to eat all 10 today.
Yeah, I won't do that. I won't eat. I'm not like a big eater.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, but I do eat a little at a time.
Okay, and you're a greaser.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
so
a lot of little times.
a lot of little
times. And they increase as the night go. I can go all day with, like, I can eat like something light, but just a discipline, because it's more than eating. You look.
Thank you. I'm trying.
It's more than just a diet. It's a lifestyle.
It is a lifestyle, and that's one of the things. Like, even with my clients, so my personal training business, I'm trying to focus on women and also trying to empower women to love themselves, because I feel like especially, and I'm going to be very specific, Black women, I feel like we have this whole thing where we feel like we've got to be strong, we've got to take care of the village and take care of everybody. And then people make us feel guilty for taking care of ourselves, like we're selfish. And I think it's a very selfish thing not to take care of yourself. How do you not invest in yourself? How do you not make sure that you're okay? Prime example, if you are falling apart, if you're sickly, if you're feeble, who's going to take care of you? Probably your kids, your grandkids, your partner, your spouse. So I think it's really, it's about like conditioning people to understand that like it's okay to spend a little time on yourself. It's okay to say, no, I can't. And not even give an explanation. No, I just can't do it today. So one of the things I'm focusing on with my personal training is teaching women how to, number one, take better care of themselves. Of course, working out techniques. But again, it starts first up here. If we're not right up here, whether we've talked ourselves out of it, whether we feel convicted for not running little Timmy to the soccer game and working out first, there's so many things that we feel guilty about. And then, of course, that you a strong Black woman. I hate that term. I always say, burn it down. Because, no, it's not a compliment. And I'm a woman. I've given birth to children. I'm strong. I take care of my family. I'm strong. But I feel like, there's no other demographic of woman that's described as strong first. When I think of strength, I think of a man. A man is strong. I needs a man. Okay? Okay? Come on, strong man. Come and save me. So for me, I don't like that term because I feel like we get stuck in that thought that we have to be strong. We've got to be strong. We're about to fall apart. We feel like we're about to die. We depressed. We sad. We feel like crying. It's all going to hell in a handbasket. But I'm strong. So now we put on this face, and now everything else is suffering behind it. So I'm like, just be a woman. You don't hear strong white woman, strong Indian woman, strong Puerto Rican woman. You don't hear strong Asian woman. No, so don't strong Black woman me. I'm just a woman. I'm a damsel. I'm sensitive. I need to take care of myself. And you know what? And it's okay for me to tell people no. And I can't hold the village up all the time. Yeah. So I offer, so I offer my clients like, emotional support. I'm not going to say counseling, but I'm going to say support. So with my clients, I check in. They always tell me like, you're like my therapist. No, I'm not. Let's not do that because I'm going to charge you more. But I'm always here to hear what's going on. Well, what happened this week? Because a lot of times when we don't work out or we don't eat right, usually it's because something's going on. Because emotionally, we're not in the right space, or mentally, we're not in the right space. So what's happening? What's going on with you? Talk to me. Like, what can we do differently? What did you feel when this was happening? Why didn't you work out? Why didn't you feel like you deserved XYZ? Because a lot of times I also feel like we already have the answers. We're just looking for somebody to co-sign and make us feel like we're not crazy. You feel heard. Right. Yeah. Heard and seen. Yes. So that's one of the things I offer. And then also like with your daughter, just kind of reconditioning ourselves to think differently about food, how we look at food, because diet is a key component, but everybody's always so hooked on the diet. I hate that word because I want to eat. We're supposed to eat. Now, I don't feel like we need to overindulge or live to eat. I do feel like we do need to have everything in moderation, but I don't feel like I need to deprive myself of a cookie.
I don't either. I think it's eating and being just exercising, moving.
Right, movement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, moving, doing something. Especially when we get older, we definitely got to get to moving.
And stretching is important. Stretching. So I always tell people too, in the morning when you wake up, even if you got to wake up extra 10 minutes, set the alarm clock at extra 10 minutes. And in that 10 minutes, find you a good stretch video on YouTube. They make it very accessible. And stretch. You need to stretch your body. One of the things we are so guilty of is being tight. You think about it, when we was kids, we could put our heads back then. I always tell people, even something like this.
No, I ain't doing
this is flexibility. But if you work on it and you keep practicing on it, it's not going to happen overnight, but you can get to that point. You know, so you just have to train your muscles and stretch them so that you can be flexible. Because flexibility helps you when you fall. It stops you from pulling stuff, breaking stuff, healing yourself. So you want to make sure that you're like agile, especially as you get older. So I try to focus on stretching, mental and emotional support, food and nutrition support, and then of course, then comes the fitness part. If you don't have the other things kind of working in the background, it just like you see people at the gym all the time. They come to the gym every day. Why are they at the gym every day? And they're not, nothing is changed. They look exactly the same 5 years later.
Do you think that people are more in the gym now to take photos? Like when you see people who have not, like I see you working out, right? I've seen you from the beginning and I see results and I see consistency. You're diligent in it. Like I just see you do everything with intention. Like you move, you're doing it. And it shows. But you see some people who go, I don't talk about the people, but y'all do. They go and they have surgery. And then they go to the gym and then they take photos and then they make regular people not regular, because not that they're not regular, but just a woman who is naturally trying to lose.
It doesn't feel attainable.
Yeah, it's intimidating.
Yeah. So I have a few things about that. One, you can kind of tell. So I'm gonna just say it like it is. The women with the big butts and a little waist, there's no muscle tone to any parts of their body. You can kind of see an artificial body. And so let me be clear. I'm not even opposed to a little nip and tuck when you need it. If you need to lift something up and snatch something down, but don't use that as like your advertisement of, oh yeah, you need to put in the work.
You should still put in the work.
Right.
Even with that,
but even with that, so I do see like some of the, especially the younger girls, in their 20s and 30s. I see them, they take a couple of pictures and they leave out. But then there are some people in the gym really putting in the work. They're just not really getting the results, because also one of the things I learned in being certified, I always tell people part of the reason why you get a certified personal trainer is because we've done the schooling and we have the education and the knowledge to back it up. Because if there's a formula to everything, just like those cookies you ate, everybody's banana pudding cookies don't taste like that. So there is a recipe. So even with working out, there's a recipe. So you can go in the gym every day and you can work out what you think is good enough. But if you're not doing things like progressive overload, if you're not doing supersets, if you're not changing up the routine, if you're not working out with a formula, if you're not giving your body enough rest, but that's not something the average person is aware of that you need. So you think you go in the gym, you don't even need, I hate when people are in the gym 2 hours, an hour and a half. That is a lot of your time to give away. Nothing special is happening after that first 45 minutes. Okay. Go home. Leave. So I think it's important for people to know, they need to know how to work out. Like anything else, you can get in a car and step on the gas, but if you don't know how to drive, you're not going anywhere. And it's the same thing with working out. You really need to know what you're doing in order to really see the results. I'm in better shape now than I was in my 20s. And I worked out in the gym. My ex-husband was a bodybuilder, but I didn't have the education behind it. So now I'm educated. So I know what I need to do to get certain results. So I think that's one of the things that a lot of people suffer from is they go in the gym without a plan. And they go in the gym without knowledge. So I always say, that's why you hire a trainer, is so that you can get the knowledge, you can get the expertise, so that you can feel like every time you step in that gym, you're getting gains. Yeah. So that's
very important.
It is. Who wants to just go to the gym?
Going to the gym and what not happening. I was like, I didn't come back to no more.
Right. And see,
but I didn't ask for help.
But see, a good personal trainer is gonna work you out and then also say, what are you eating? Or because sometimes it's simple tweaks to your diet. A lot of people don't know, in order to really get muscle mass, you can't build muscle if you're not giving it. It's like anything else. If you try to build a building, how are you going to build it without the right equipment? So you have to fuel your body properly to make sure that as you're breaking it down, because building muscle is about tearing the muscle fibers down. And then once they're torn down, you need to make sure that you have enough of the materials to rebuild it. And when it rebuilds bigger, stronger, leaner. So if you're going home and eating a salad, no, you're going to look exactly the same next week eating all them damn salads. That salad has nothing in it that you
need,
right? Right, that you need. And then everybody's body requires something different. So, it's important to have the knowledge to make sure that if you're going to do it, you're doing it right. So you're not wasting your time. And that's one of the things for me. I always try to make sure I don't want my clients to be with me forever. I want them to have progress, get the knowledge, and then go tell a friend, and then bring a friend over here. So now I can get the friend. But I always want my clients to leave more educated, more knowledgeable, so that then they could go out and educate their friends, or at least maintain.
It helps you maintain.
Right, exactly.
You know what you're doing, and you know the reasons behind things and foods that you eat and all that. It helps you, at least to maintain it. It's one thing to see it come off and then to watch it come back on.
And it sucks. It sucks.
But you got to learn how to maintain it. And eating, because we're talking about people dieting and everything. You eat.
I get down. I'm a foodie. I love food. My friends hate calling me because I'm always crunching and munching and smacking and snacking on the phone. But I do it in like moderation. And again, like I always tell people, it's like a locomotive. Back in the day, if you have a train that runs off of coal and steam, whatever that is, and you stop feeding it coal, it's going to slow down. It's going to stop burning. And people always look at food as like the devil. It's not. You need food in order to fuel. Even like if you work out, like prime example, when I'm training somebody, especially when you've been training with me for a while, I'm training you hard. So you're burning a lot of calories. Even after we finish working out, your body is still burning. So you need something for it to burn. If it doesn't have what it needs to burn, it's going to start burning, not just into your fat, but it's going to start burning into your muscle. If we try to build muscle, it's counterproductive if now you're burning the muscle that we've just broken down and tried to fix. So I tell people, you shouldn't be afraid of food. You should just make better decisions. And again, have a snack, but don't have the whole snack. If you buy a pint of ice cream, it does not mean that you need to eat the whole pint. Grab a couple of tablespoons and just let it be good. Enjoy it. Give me something.
Just kill a craving.
Right, exactly. And then learn how to say it's not going anywhere. But that's part of like conditioning yourself. Like it'll be here tomorrow. It's not going away. And I think even we grew up in an era where it was like, finish all your food on your plate. And I grew up in a household where it was like, you don't drink anything till you eat. And I always tell people the opposite. Before you eat, drink a bunch of water. Fill up that void first, because then you're less likely to overeat. And then when you eat, like you said, you're a slow eater. Taste your food. There's so many people that are hoovering down food like a vacuum. Taste your food. It's okay. It is not running off the plate. It's not running off the plate. It's not. It will be there. It'll be there later on in the day. It will be there tomorrow. Yeah. And for all of y'all that don't eat leftovers, that's all right. Give it to me because I eat all the leftovers. I feel like tomorrow's food tastes better than today's food because it done soaked in. It done got good. But I think a lot of people feel like cleaning your plate is no, don't clean your plate. When you start to feel full.
People actually do that who just eat really fast, and then that's it, get up, wash the dish, and go about their business. I'm like, did you taste that?
No, they didn't. They didn't. I can tell you that. You haven't tasted it. That's like, even for me, I have a vice. I like these Utz's sourdough pretzels. Oh, Jesus. I wish they would just stop making them so I could stop by. I've been eating them for about 5 years and they are so good. And I don't like pretzels, but those pretzels, I don't eat any other pretzel. I'll go to the store and if it's not a Utz sourdough, I have no desire to pick it up. But the utter sourdough pretzels, they are my kryptonite. So what I've learned is now I grab a handful and I break it off and chew it slow. I break it off again, chew it slow, and I'm like, "Ooh, this is good. This is real good." And I eat it, and then by the time I'm finished, and I suck down a bunch of water, and then I'm good for a while. And I'm not gonna say I'll go back for another handful, but and of course I stay in the gym, so I get to play around with a few things that I like a little bit more frequently. But I do indulge in the things I like. I don't overindulge. Now, don't get me wrong. Some days, like on the weekend, oh yes, some weekends I trash everything that comes my way. I'm not gonna be like, I eat carrot sticks, I eat lettuce, and I eat all the protein. No. On the weekend, those cookies, I may eat 4 of those cookies. I may take some ice cream and scoop it on it, but I'm like, this is today. And then tomorrow, you get your ass back in the gym and you're not touching it. You had it. Was it good? Did you like it, LaViv? Oh, you loved it? Oh, good. Now get your ass in the gym. Mm-hmm. So I always feel like we can't deprive ourselves because if you deprive yourself, you kind of overdo it when you finally get it. And that's, I always feel like the diet is the worst thing because the diet is it's not something you could do for the rest of your life. Even like people go on liquid diets. I think that's the dumbest shit ever. I want to chew my food. I like to chew my food. I don't want to liquid nothing unless my jaw is broke and I have to suck it through a straw. I'm not doing a liquid diet. Or people do, the ketos and the Atkins diets. Don't you get tired of eating protein? By the way, your breath stink because all you eating is protein. Nobody, don't even talk to me. You want some gum? So I feel like make wiser choices. Food is not the enemy. It's how much of you consume and what you're consuming that's the enemy. Like go out with your friends. Have a glass of wine. Don't have 4 glasses of wine. Those are the things. If you order dessert, have the dessert. Split that shit in half. Or like for me, when I go out with my friends, I'll be like, you want to split this with me? I'm gonna order dessert, but you want to split it with me? Split it with your friends. Mm-hmm. We have to get out of that. We need to consume everything kind of mind frame. Yeah. But I do believe that people need to learn how to enjoy their food. And I think if you enjoy your food and do everything in moderation, you can still, I eat.
Yeah, just be disciplined and exercise.
Right. Movement is important. I tell people, especially now that it's getting nice, everybody's looking for the close parking spot to the store. I'm always looking for my steps. So I'm parking way over there. And then I'm going to walk because it's extra steps. It's extra movement. Sit something across the room that you have to get. Even if you're watching TV, you'd be surprised. Even when I'm baking, if something is like in the oven or if I'm like, I got the stand mixer on, I'll go on the counter and do some push-ups while it's mixing. You can do certain, you'd be surprised how you can incorporate little bits of movement and fitness into every day. Nobody's saying you got to do like a whole exercise routine, but it's just getting in the mind frame of like, just making sure you move. 30 minutes a day. I always say recommend 30 minutes a day. Even if you're not going to the gym, while you're watching TV, stand up and just march in place. Do some high knees. Do something. Do some crunches before you go to bed. It's all about the movement. That gets you started. Of course, you do need to have like a strong workout routine at some point, but sometimes just getting in the habit of doing something. It takes 21 days to form a habit. That's what I always tell people. For 21 days, start a habit of fitness and activity and movement. You'll be surprised on day number 22, if you don't do it, you start to feel convicted.
I got to do it.
21 days.
I'll be trying.
21 days.
Past couple of days.
Like you sitting around, or let's say you walking around here, and you just get up and you just be like, all right, so I'm going to do it. Set a timer. 1 minute timer, do something. Move. March in place. Do a couple of jumping jacks. These are things you can do in the house. Everybody feels like you have to go to the gym. You don't have to go to the gym. You can do things in the house. Even if you can't do a push-up, start off with little baby push-ups. Mm-hmm. See if you can do a plank. Just hold yourself on the ground. See how long you can hold it. Start off with 10 seconds. Do that for a week. Next week, start off with 15 seconds. You can build endurance, stamina, strength a little bit at a time. It does not take a lot.
And it's worth it.
It is. Let me tell you, I feel better now. I feel much better than I did. Like, even if, like, I was showing your daughter that picture of me, I was in my 250s at 36, 37. And I didn't feel good. You know, like, even tying your shoes. You should never be out of breath tying your shoes. Mm-hmm. And I used to be out of breath like I was pregnant tying my shoes because I was out of shape. You know, my bedroom in my house, I have 3 floors in my house. There were some days that I would sleep on the couch on the first floor because I did not want to walk up to the 3rd floor to get in my bed. What is that? You're sleeping on the couch like, well, I'm going to recline because I'm not going to. Exactly. No, the couch is not the bed. But, you know, sometimes just because I felt really out of shape, really winded, you know, always tired. And then during COVID, I was just like, one of the things, business was slow. So I would just walk around my neighborhood with my mask. If I saw somebody, because, you know, you thought people could breathe on you from across the street and catch it. So I see somebody on the sidewalk, I power walk, and then she like, you ain't gonna kill me. But I just started walking around. There's nothing else to do. So I would just walk around the neighborhood. And then I got my personal trainer who started me, almost bankrupt me. Because, you know, that's the other thing. A lot of personal trainers are so unaffordable. Their rates are so high. I was paying $100 to $85 per session. I was maxing out credit cards. Yes, credit. I mean, he was good, but listen, thousands of dollars went into this man.
You hung in there because you was doing
for 3 years. For 3 years. Yes, 3 years at 3 to 4 days a week. Yes. So he got a lot of my coins, but that was at the height of my baking business. So I could afford it. I was making like $10,000 a month. So I could give it to him. I'm not doing that now. I was never sleeping. I was always baking. Mm-hmm. But you know, so even now with my personal training, I try to offer people services at a realistic, affordable price. Because my thing is, you know, with the cake business is something different because the cake business, I'm putting out money on the front end. So I have to recoup my money. I'm running my electric and gas. I'm running water. You know, I'm burning gas to go buy supplies. So there's a lot of money that I put out first. So before I'm profitable, I have to gain that money back plus my time. Mm-hmm. But with personal training, the only money I'm spending is my gas that I'm going to either meet a client or, you know, come to their home. So I don't feel like I need to charge hundreds of dollars or $100 or 75 or 85. I don't feel like it's necessary. I do need to support my family. I do need to make money. So I can't offer it for free, but I try to offer it at a reasonable price where it's not going to bankrupt the client. And then I also offer services that I wish was available to me. Like I offer Afterpay. I offer payment plans because, again, I don't want people to feel like being fit is a burden and a hardship. It shouldn't feel like that. You know, I don't want you to now go from stressing about your bills and your life and your kids. Now you're stressing about how you're going to pay me. Mm-hmm. So I want it to be affordable and I offer different packages. And then the other thing I offer, which was never something I had an opportunity to do, is a referral program. So if, let's say, you refer one of your girlfriends and she signs up with me, for every 5 sessions that she books with me, you get 1 free session. And you get that every time she books those 5 sessions. So if she's with me, she's with me for 6 months and she's booking those sessions, you could get a whole month worth of sessions and not even have to pay for it because you referred them. So it's a lifetime. It's a lifetime of your referral. And then also, what I also offer is, say you want to sign up with me. So for every 8 sessions that you book in one package, you get the 9th one for free. So trainers are not giving that stuff away. And my virtual sessions are $35. Yeah, my virtual sessions are $35. My one-on-one sessions are $55. You're not getting, and I'm educated. You know, I'm certified. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm not just running around here playing trainer. I've gone to school and spent a lot of money.
When you go to people's homes, do you have a central location or you just
well, I trained, so if you come to me, you can train at the gym. You don't need a membership. You just come on in with my membership and I'll train you. I usually train at LA Fitness. And then if I come to you, I'll bring the equipment because I have a bunch of equipment, pull-up bars. I've got benches. I would bring that. Yeah, I have everything. So I would bring, like, let's say if we're doing lower body today, I'll bring all the stuff to do the lower body, and give you a good workout at home. So, yeah.
That's good. Okay, you gotta train. Y'all heard me. I'm doing it. I'm going to do it. I am. You know, because when you get a little older, I've been fortunate to be slim, but that don't mean that I'm fortunate.
Right. And people equate thin and slim with fit and healthy, and it's such it's not, you know, it's a misconception, because I know people that are smaller than me, and I will run circles around.
Yep. It does not mean healthy at all. It just means slim.
Right. Exactly.
That's all it means.
Exactly.
And but it's knowing that, you know, and then being older.
Right.
So when you're older, you can't be weak and old. You have to be as strong as possible, because you never know what's going to happen to you, and you need to be able to fight back from something.
Right.
And we need muscle in order to do that. And a lot of people don't realize that sitting around being lazy, that's not going to help you if something happens. I've watched somebody rehab, and I've watched a few people rehab, and some people were so weak, and they had to first build up the stamina to be able to do it. So it's important.
It is very important, and especially women over 40. You know, you lose so much muscle mass after 40, and you lose testosterone, estrogen. But testosterone, everybody equates testosterone with men, but women have testosterone. But as we age, we lose some of it. And that's what maintains our muscle and, you know, keeps us a little healthier, stronger. So, and what people also don't know is, strength training also helps prevent things like osteoporosis. It helps to keep your bones dense and your bones strong. And that's something that older people in general, especially women, hip fractures when they fall. That's the difference between recovering well and not recovering at all.
Which is another question I have. Are you able to train people around whatever their conditions are?
Yes. I am. So just a little story about myself. I am technically, how I got in the baking business is I was forced out of my career, which was state corrections. I was a state correction officer. But when I got hurt, I broke my back, my L4, L5, S1. And because my back was broken with state corrections, there's no light duty. So either you're fully fit to work or not. Yeah, I fell when I was pregnant with my son. And I broke my back. Yeah. So after I had my son, you know, workman's comp, they're always trying to send you back to work, go back to work. And, there was no doctor that would clear me because my back was so broke. And I remember one of the doctors was saying to me, like, he was like, I'm going to be honest with you. He said, because he was like the third doctor that they had sent me to. He said, they keep sending you to different doctors because they want one of us to clear you and say that you're fit to go back to work. He said, but I can't. He said, I can't sign off on it. He said, knowing the condition that you're in, I can't. So he was like, you're going to have to, you know, retire. And at the time, I wasn't maxed out. So I wasn't maxed out in a pension. I had this little son, and I had no income, and I was recently separated from my ex-husband, so I didn't have any money. I was just like, oh, now what am I going to do? And that kind of catapulted me into entrepreneurship. But I say that to say, even when I was heavy, the back pain and I still have back pain from time to time, because it is what it is. But because like my core was weak and I was heavy and the weight, there would be days where like my son would have to help me undress and help me sit on the toilet and get off the toilet, because the pain was so excruciating that I could barely, like, it was like how they say teeth gritting pain. And that's how, and like I said, sometimes when I'm working, another reason why I don't want to come out of baking, because when I'm on my feet too much, it does aggravate it. But being healthy has definitely got me to a point where it's manageable. I'm not in pain every day. I can move around. Most people wouldn't even guess. Like if I pull my pants, I look like the Bride of Frankenstein because I had 13 staples going down my back. So yes, I'm very familiar with injuries. I'm very familiar with doing things. Like for example, my mother, she had a knee replacement. So she's currently, I'm training her virtually because she lives down at the shore. So there are ways to work around injuries and even get muscles stronger, because with people, even like when you have a bad knee, if you work those surrounding muscles, it'll support the bad joints. Now, is it going to be a cure-all? No, but it can help you to sustain a little bit longer, help make it stronger so you can bear more weight on it, so it's not as problematic. Same thing with the back. What people don't know is that the core, once you get your core muscle strong, it serves kind of like as a corset to hold everything in place. It tightens your abdomen. It helps with your posture. So even if you have back pain or suffer from injuries, like I have screws in my back and stuff, it helps to limit the pain because it's kind of holding everything together as a support. So, yeah, I do specialize in people with injuries, ailments, people with autoimmune diseases, because that's another thing. It's not a one size fits all for everybody. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times when you get these trainers, and I hate to say it, no offense, but a lot of men trainers, especially dealing with women, you know, it's just like, pick it up, put it down. And you know, sometimes you can aggravate an injury or injure somebody even more by not making sure that you're taking special attention or special care to, you know, whatever injures them. So even when I meet with a client, we do a full medical breakdown. They have to fill out a medical questionnaire. I go over certain things, medications, illnesses, joint pains, because I need to know what you can do. So everybody can't do squats. Even for me, I can't do lunges. I can do squats. I can't do lunges because 20 years ago, I injured my knee in a motorcycle accident, but I'm still able to work out my legs. It just, you have to learn how to modify and adjust, you know, your workouts based on what the client needs. So I do focus on that.
Wow, that was good. That was deeper than what I was thinking. I'm like, wow, there are a lot of people I know, and a lot of women in particular, and older ones with bad knees.
A lot of people have bad knees, yes.
Yeah, and we just don't look like it. But there's a lot of people, them knees be killing them.
Snap, crackle, and popping.
Yeah, like, I gotta walk up downstairs. And I'm like, yes, you do. And you're like, all right, well, just give me a minute. It's the knees and the joints. Like I have my bones. I have rheumatoid arthritis.
Okay.
And I have problems with my bones. They're very weak.
Okay.
And fragile. So I have to take medication for them, which I don't, because I don't like taking medication. But that always interferes when I think about working out. Mm-hmm. Because I don't think people understand that. They hear things and they think you're giving them an excuse.
Right.
That's
pain is real.
They think that it's an excuse because you don't want to do it, and I don't say nothing. I don't care that you think it's an excuse. I'm just not coming back.
Right.
I'm just not working with you no more because that does not work for me.
And the thing is to build up. You can't start, like I have a client who I started her off kind of like hardcore because she comes from a background of working out. She's strong. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the other things in the assessment. So like I come over to the client's house, I do an assessment. I run through certain exercises. I see what your endurance level is, what your strength level is. I give you a set of 3-pound weights, a set of 5-pound weights. If you're strong, I'll give you a set of 10-pound weights. And then I assess you based on like your movement, your flexibility. You know, there's a lot of things I assess, and then I take into consideration, like you said, you have rheumatoid arthritis. So again, I'm not going to work you out like someone who doesn't, because of course you do suffer from joint pain. It does deteriorate your bones. That's something that people think of arthritis as just like, oh, ow, but it's actually, it affects your bones. It affects your joints. So I would have to work you out to a point where we would progressively get, you know, into a point where we work stronger. First, I would work on your flexibility, your movement, your balance. Then we would start increasing the weight. Once I felt like you were comfortable enough to handle the weight, we'd increase your weight a little bit at a time. I always tell people, Rome was not built in a day. And I always use this analogy. Prime example, if I come down here and I bust holes and it break everything, break the furniture, tear up the couches, I can do that in like 20, 30 minutes. I can fuck this place up. Okay. And then guess what? It would take you months, maybe even over a year to fix all the damage that I've created. Mm-hmm. So it's the same thing with the body. If it took you a year to tear up your body, expect that it's going to take you at least a year or more to rebuild it. Plain and simple. It's not an instant, right? So that's the same thing when you have ailments and issues. We can work up to it like the food is not going anywhere.
All right, so I got to get to working. So don't be looking at me crazy this summer. Next summer, though.
You'd be surprised. 3 months of seriousness and dedication, it can make a big difference. Yeah, a big difference. And you starting off with a good foundation. You don't have a lot to go. We just need to tone it and sculpt it. That's it.
That's exactly it.
And I always tell people, stay the hell away from the scale.
Yeah.
The scale is the devil.
Yeah. I don't even need the scale. I can feel.
Right, in your clothes, the way it looks, you see that it's different when the back fat is not fatting as much.
Yeah.
And stuff don't jiggle as much. I noticed, like, even for me, the sundress thing where everything be wiggly. I was like, oh, glory be to God. Look, it's not jiggling all over this thing. Oh, God, won't he do it?
Everything is held in place.
Yeah. They're like, what support holes you wearing? Nothing. It's just me. That's what I'm wearing.
It's amazing that you're able to keep, this again and still do the baking. And I know you don't want to do it no more.
I just want to do less of it.
Well, I think you should do classes. I don't know how you're going to, that's what I think. I really think that it would be, well, you said you would do the parties with the ladies.
Right.
That's even better than what I was thinking. Have you ever been on a cooking, a bake-off?
I'm going to tell you, like I tell everybody that asks me that question. The whole show would sound like this. Bing. Oh, listen.
Well, they might like it, especially
because how would they like it when you wouldn't be able to hear anything? Because I just because
you have your own personality. That's what they want. You have your own personality. I could just see you just winning it.
I'll be throwing stuff. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. You do that. You're live. And your daughter she just fits right in.
She's crazy.
And when I saw on the live and I was listening to you guys, I said, wow, that's exactly how your reels be. I said, that's exactly what they be doing.
Oh, that's us all the time in my house. My house is a shit show.
But it's so cool, the dynamic. She has a great personality.
Yeah, that's my little buddy. I always say I don't know what I would do without her. She definitely keeps me on my toes, and she is her own entire person.
She is.
Yeah, she is. She is a mess. Sometimes I'm like, go have a seat and leave me alone. and she always tries to dominate. Well, they want to hear me. I'm like, they don't. Go sit down with me. They like, I'm working. Here you come. So, yeah.
And she helps you, too.
Yes, she does.
So you talk. I like that you talk through it. You talk through mistakes. You talk through. It's so many. Again, I'm not a baker, but if I was, I would be on your videos. I'm just interested. So I'm on the videos. I know I ain't baking the cake or nothing,
right.
But I'm like, goodness, these details. My daughter wants to bake.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell her all the time, I said, this is an art. This is more than just you thinking you open the box or something. Like,
right.
My mother was fake. My mother, she passed away. She used to be a good baker. I guess that's why I'm so interested, because she did everything from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things is that's what you do. And I'm like, okay, she's not eating all of this food. So the recipes.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing it for so long. Like, there's certain things. Like, I mean, I can do most of the stuff with my eyes closed because I've been doing it for years. Like, every day. Because on average, I work about 6 days a week with the bake. And that's why I want to give it up. Because, like, even now with the personal trainer, like, I'm squeezing both in. So I'm getting up at 4:30 in the morning. And sometimes I'm not going to bed till 11 to 12 o'clock. So I'm, like, exhausted some days.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, you do it. Like, I don't need, like, a recipe because when you're doing it, you know exactly what it is. And even sometimes I eyeball it. Even with my cakes, I'd be like, well, this is about a little bit more. So even with the vanilla, I've not measured my vanilla in years. I'm like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's enough. and that's it. But it tastes the same every time. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you do it enough. It's like, it's like breathing.
The cookie. Did you experiment to come up with that flavor?
Oh, that's the first time I did it. Today was the first. That was my first batch. Yes, that was my first batch.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
That's my first batch.
That cookie is so good. It tastes just like a banana. It tastes just like a banana
pudding. So one thing I always say with baking is once you've done it so long, you kind of like, so I make chocolate chip cookies. So I was like, okay, I know what goes in traditional cookies. Let me see what if I add this, because even like as I was looking up recipes, and then somebody was telling me it's a place called Crumble. I might be getting it wrong, but they were saying that banana pudding cookie is like a regular cookie with like some banana pudding stuff on the top, and I'm like, that's not a banana pudding cookie. I always like to incorporate my flavors throughout. So I was like, okay. So I saw some recipes where your daughter was asking me, did I use extract? And I'm like, no, because I want the real flavor. So I'm like, okay, substitute this with a little of that. So when you bake, you kind of know what goes with what. Even like sometimes with like cake recipes, you'll see people give you a recipe with just like sugar. And I'm like, how do you have this with just sugar and no salt? Or even like buttercream, you'll see unsalted butter. Everything is like 4 sticks of unsalted butter. I'm like, but you're about to dump a bunch of sugar in here. You need some salt. So everything I bake with always has salt. Everything I bake with always has like vanilla. It doesn't matter what the flavor is. So there's certain things you know from just baking for years that you have to incorporate with it. So I was like, okay, I think I need this. I think I need that. And then I made my first batch and I was like, oh, this is good. And I was like, let me bake some more. Good. And I like soft cookies.
Yes, that's the best part.
Yeah,
that
I like
is soft.
I like a crunch once in a while.
Banana pudding. How do you get like? Yeah.
So yes,
all of it already cool.
But I want to go into, and I want to free up my time. So just like this summer, I think I'm going to focus more on cookies and the dessert cups, and only do maybe one custom cake a week, or maybe one custom cake every other week, just for like the content and, and showing people. Cause that's the other thing. I've started doing the videos because people always think that, I feel like social media is so good and so bad at the same time, because people put out these reels, and these reels are like 30 seconds. So you see the cake, it's frosted, and then it's decorated. So people think like this cake took 4 hours. No, some of these damn cakes, like I remember a couple of weeks ago, I was doing a cake. I don't know if you remember, it was the marble cake with the big bow on it. And one of the ladies in the live, she said, you still decorating that cake? Yes, because some of these cakes take 10 to 12 hours, and baking it takes a certain amount of time. Now, because I make all my fillings and stuff from scratch, it's not like I'm scooping it out of a can. I've made these ingredients. That should take a long time, and then now I've got to frost it and decorate it and wrap it with the fondant and paint it and print out stuff and cut out stuff. It is not, these cakes are very time consuming. Part of the reason why I want to retire. So I want people to just see, this is not like it's you think that it's fast, but no, these cakes take a long time, a very long time. This is why a lot of bakers don't sleep. We cry a lot. Oh, I thought I was the only one crying in the kitchen. I got into cake groups and started talking to people. Oh, we all cry a lot. And then, yes, because you just want to go to bed. You can't, it's not like I tell people, it's not like a traditional job where I work from 8 to 10. If something doesn't go right, or I mess something up, I remember one time I baked a whole cake and decorated it, and then went to pull it out the refrigerator and it fell on the floor. What are you going to do? Now you start over. So people don't see, there's a lot of things that go wrong, or you do something, you got to redo it. It didn't come out right, or you messed it up. So, so there's a lot of components to it that keep you up late nights and early mornings. And then you juggle that, like with me, I got kids. Mm-hmm. So now you factor in, today your kid woke up throwing up. So now instead of getting right down to working, now you've had the mother hen and run to the doctor. So now you've blown 4 or 5 hours that you should have been working. So now you got to do that on the back end. So it's not a traditional punch a clock and done. Like with the personal training, if my kid is sick, I can just say, hey, I'm sorry, I got to cancel. I'll throw in an extra session for you. Nobody's mad. But if you mess up a wedding, most people only getting married once, or 50th birthday, they only turning 50 once. So there's a lot of pressure and stress that comes with that, because if you mess this up, like your birthday cake, that was a milestone birthday for you. If I'd have messed it up and be like, so Dawn, what had happened was I dropped the cake. I'm sorry.
You came clear. I said, he gonna pick it up. He said, if he gonna pick it up now, he need to know
everything, right? Because once it's out of my possession, That's it, and that's all.
Clear directions, because you are absolutely right.
There is no do-over.
Yeah.
So you gotta, that is a business where you gotta get it right the first time. Cause not getting it right. I remember the very first time a cake fell over was for a wedding. It was wow. And I lost my whole, I lost it. Like I was stressed. I cussed. I cried. I couldn't believe that cake did, but part of it was my fault because I let the bride put a bunch of pressure on me to do something that I already was uncertain if it would work well. And then the other thing is with cakes, people always be like, I want my cake fresh. There's no such thing as a right now today cake. Cakes have to sit, especially the tier cakes. You want that cake to be finished and done at least a minimum of 6 hours before, because you want it to sit, you want it to settle and rest into each other. So when you're transporting it, it's firm and hard from the buttercream and everything setting in, and then it's settled, sitting on top of it. There's a lot that goes into it. So that cake, I had finished up maybe like 2 hours before it was time to deliver. My cakes are very moist, so they're already soft. So it didn't have time to sit and settle. It really should have been finished the night before. It wasn't, but because the bride was like, now I've learned to just tell people, no, that's not going to work. So either it works for you, it doesn't. But me trying to over and please her, I did myself a disservice. So the cake ended up falling over. It was a mess. I had to do a dummy cake. It was a lot, but those are the stresses that I don't need going into 50. I don't need that. I don't want it. No, thank you. But yeah, a baker, that's why I always tell people, be kind to your baker. Understand that she is under all the pressure that you're not under. She's trying to make sure your day goes smoothly. She has invested a lot of her heart and soul into these cakes, a lot of hours. Their kids being neglected, relationships. Let me tell you, I have dated men where they were very upset because they're like, you work so much. All you do is work. You never have time for me. But that's the business. The cake baking business, especially if you don't have an assistant or somebody doing it. I tell people, I do all the customer service, as you know. I do all the billing, which is time consuming because you've seen my invoices. They're very detailed. I do all the shopping. I'm going to the store. It's not like I got these commercial industrial refrigerators. So if you want this flavor, I'm running to Costco. Sometimes Costco don't have it. Now I'm running to ShopRite or BJ's. So now I'm burning up my gas. I'm spending hours on the road. Then I come back, I still got to bake the damn thing. Now I got to put it together. Then after I put it together, I got to decorate it. If there's little pieces and images, now I've got to print that out. Then I got to cut it out. Then I've got to put it on a cake. There is a lot of moving parts to this business. So yeah, a lot of shit goes neglected. I've missed basketball games, school plays and shows. I've missed dates. There's a lot that you sacrifice and I say this business was a blessing and a curse because I was so good. I've been in high demand even now as I try to retire. But at the same time, because I'm in high demand and I need to support my family, I've neglected so much, including myself. That's how I got so damn big, because I stopped investing in myself. Now I just be like, oh, I'm broke. Oh, well, I ain't got it, but I feel good.
You got a man.
Yeah, there it is. So it's like, those are the things that I feel like people don't understand when, entrepreneurship, people are like, well, at least you work for yourself. And I'm like, yeah, but if I'm sick, I can't call out. I can't be like, hey, I got a cold. I remember during COVID, I eventually got it, and it put me on my ass. I was so sick. I ended up going to the hospital, and I had jobs going out, and I had to refund thousands of dollars to people because physically I could not. I got so sick. I lost 17 pounds. I was sick for like a month. I was one of those people that was sick for like over a month. Like, it shut my whole business down. So no, being self-employed is not as glorifying as people think it is, especially when you're self-employed and it's a physical hands-on business. Both of my businesses are hands-on. So if I don't work, I don't eat. If I don't produce, we go hungry. So it's a lot of pressure. So be kind to your bakers.
Yeah.
Be kind. Understand. Don't be like, why is it so much? It's so much because, number one, groceries is high as hell, and we doing the stuff that you cannot and you will not do. Yeah. So go have a seat, go give them their money, and don't complain. Or go to ShopRite. One or the other.
One or the other. What's your best cake? What's a favorite thing?
My favorite cake that I love is the lemon cake. I love my lemon cake with the lemon mousse. That's like my top favorite. And then my next favorite cake is the strawberry banana cake. Everything, I like everything, but those are the cakes, like for my birthday, like last year for my birthday was strawberry banana. The year before that, it was the lemon cake. This year, I don't know. It'll probably be lemon again because I like what I like. But those are my favorites. I like the Oreo cookie and cream too, but it's chocolate. So I got to kind of be in the mood for chocolate. And then like the banana pudding cake, even though I like it, it's rich because my banana pudding isn't just like putting out a box, thrown in with some bananas. And so I have like layers. Like, I don't know if you've seen me because as a matter of fact, tomorrow I'll be making dessert shooters for an event Sunday.
Okay.
So I'll actually be showing like the different layers incorporated into my shooter. So I like the lemon cake because it's not super sweet. It's light and I like the lemon flavor. And like I said, the strawberry bananas because I don't give people stuff that I don't like. And I don't like those jelly fillings that like a lot of bakeries and stuff use. So mine is always like the fresh strawberries and the fresh banana. So those are my favorites. Now you have to ask somebody else what they like, but those are mine.
What's been the most difficult cake that you made?
Design wise, let me think. I've had a few challenging ones. The first time I did a full barrel. Now I've done like open barrel cakes with like little ice, but I did a full like barrel. And that was the first time, because sometimes I do things, a lot of times people give me things and it's the first time and I take the job like, of course I can do it. Then I hang up like, oh shit, now. So that was challenging because I had to like airbrush like the veins in the cake. And, I just wanted to make sure it was right. So it was a lot of work to do that. The other cake that was a challenge is I did a life-size Elmo cake. One year. It was about that big. Mm-hmm. And what I did not account for and I did not charge enough was the fur. Because when I pipe the fur, I'm piping one fur strand at a time. Mm-hmm. And that Elmo was about this high and this big. So it took me almost like a day and a half just to pipe the fur on that cake. And then the aesthetics of it, because again, I'm kind of figuring this out as I go along. The head, trying to make the head, and make it with the mouth open and, all of that. And then sometimes you go on YouTube and nobody's done it like you want to do it. So then you have to be innovative and come up with your own technique. So I've learned how to do things like I've also done a camera for somebody in my earlier years. Yeah. I have to send you some pictures. But it was a Canon camera and it was like the real camera. So I had to carve the camera, sculpt it. And that was like one of my first sculpted cakes. And again, it was a lot of work. So I would say those were the challenges. A lot of the cakes aren't hard at this point because now I kind of, once somebody asks me to do something, I can kind of put in my head how I'm going to figure it out. And then I always say, once I do it once, then I'm like, okay, next time I'm going to do it this way and save myself some time. But yeah, the challenging new cakes, because for some reason people always want to give me a bunch of new stuff like, oh, well, LaViv could do it. And I'm like, stop, please stop doing that. But I take it on and then I like a challenge. So I do like to do things that I haven't done before. Cause everybody wants, it's like a trend, the pillow cakes. That was like a trend forever. The heart cakes, this cake. Everybody always wants to do the same thing everybody else is doing. I try. Even like the burn cakes. People are like, can you do a burn cake? I'm like, of course. And I'm so glad the trend is dying. But it's like, so those are like the easier cakes, but I do like when people give me things like outside the box and then I can try. Cause sometimes it's just things like I want to try and nobody's giving it to me. And people are like, why don't you make such and such? Cause nobody ordered it and I'm not wasting do you know how expensive that is for me to experiment for nobody to eat it? Are you crazy? Yeah. So when they give it to me, I'm like, yes, I can play in some cake.
So the best cakes when they let you design.
Yeah. That's another thing. I don't like, but that comes with some years of experience because I used to let people put me in a box and be like, I want the cake just like this, like that. So now I tell people, I'm not the original designer of that cake. But what I can tell you is I will take elements of that cake and I will put my own spin on it. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm not going to make an exact replica. It's not going to look just like that. And not to be funny, but most of the time my cakes look way better than any reference photo that they give me anyway. But I'm like, just let me create, because a lot of times, and I had this experience a couple of years ago. This woman was like so anal with it. And I've learned to just tell people like, hey, you know, I'm so sorry. Maybe I'm not your baker, because all money's not good money. And she put me in such a rigid box where by the time I finished decorating the cake, I didn't like it. I just felt like it was so ugly, because I like to elevate the cakes. I like to put my own spin on the cakes. And when you're just like, I just want it just like this and nothing else, that it really stifles my creativeness, because I'm an artist. You know, I am an artist. I do like to create, and I do like to, just like that dress cake I did. She told me what she wanted. She told me the elements, and then thank you. And then I put what I felt it needed. I was like, okay, I'll put the elements that you want, and then I'm going to do X, Y, Z. And she's like, well, I don't know what it's going to look like. I'm like, trust me, I've been doing this for a long time. I'm not going to make it look crazy. Thank you.
And you was like, oh, I'm going to polish it up because it's a little dust.
Oh, yeah, my ashy cakes. I'd be like, look at these little ashy cakes.
What you talking about? Then you came back. I was like, oh, my.
Yeah, you gotta, be ashy, because it'd be a cornstarch explosion, all of the cornstarch on the floor, on me, on my clothes.
Did you make each one of those, the pieces that you put on the cake?
The little dress, yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm, I cut them out, yep. Yeah. And then that's another thing I'll be trying to decide, because initially I'm like, am I going to put a texture in it? Am I going to like make it like just flat? So like I struggle with my own, what I want to do. And then I'm like, all right, I'm going to commit to it. Let's go. And then I'll be like, please, Jesus, don't let this look crazy.
Even with the sizes, I mean, it's definitely an art. And anyone who paid attention, I paid attention. You were like, oh, I gotta put a different size up here. And it's like, she's really layering this dress.
Yeah, like you gotta layer. Yes, you gotta layer, because I mean, to have all the same size, then it doesn't, it doesn't come together. Yeah,
I would have had all the same size. I ain't gonna lie, they would have been all the same size, and that's the difference,
right?
And people need to understand that. I mean, to be able to learn from you, if I was a baker, I would be again studying every one of those videos. Mm-hmm. I mean, to be able to just learn, it's not even about duplicating it. It's about learning how to do it.
And it's like, for me, and I always tell people, and I'm always like, I have some women that I've mentored over the years, and I'm like, I started off with women in the industry, like schooling me. Even like I said, even how I panel the cake now, I used to have such anxiety with fondant, and I'd be like, oh, it's fine. We good. And I fought against one of my girlfriends. She's mentor / girlfriend, Angie. She was like, I'm telling you, just panel the cake. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to panel the cake. And she's like, trust me, nobody cares about whether it's a seam. She said, just decorate the seam. You know how I put the seam in the back. She's like, just decorate it. Nobody cares. It's just part of the design. It makes you original. And then, finally, I was tired of like struggling with, because fondant is hard to work with. Fondant will give you anxieties. It will age you in dog years if you let it. And especially because with fondant, traditionally, you have to roll it out big enough for the cake. Then you got to hurry up and get it on. It's like, it's a lot. We're paneling. It makes it very clean. My cakes are very sharp at the top, and it gives it a cleaner look. But I was hard-headed at first. And then I was like, you got to trust the process and learn from these women who have paved the way before you so that your life is not as hard. And once I started learning from them and like, okay, they just made my life a lot easier. Mm-hmm. It alleviated some of the anxiety. So I'm always like, if I can give you a couple of tips or a couple of things, because sometimes, you don't know how to do things or you're not sure how to approach it. If I could give you little snippets of like little gems and making your life a little easier, why not? The only thing I hate is that I feel like what I see a lot on social media is there's a lot of bakers, especially in our area, who devalue their work. There's a woman that I follow on Facebook. She makes cakes, and she was giving away a cake for $125. And not to put a business out there, but she had to go back to work. And I said, of course, because she's really operating in a negative. These ingredients cost an arm and a leg. So if you're making a cake, like I tell people, unless you're going to if I hand you your cake in a box, I paid for that box. I bought those boxes ahead of time. That cake drum, I bought that cake drum. You know, the decorations that I put, I bought all of that. So if you're making something, an average 2-tier cake, for me, I charge $360 now for a 2-tier. But over $100 of that is supplies. Now let's couple my gas and my electric, because I got to pay the bill, and that's high as hell every month. So once I've done it, and the gas that I drove to go buy all your ingredients, and that toll for Easy Pass was like $2.75. People are not factoring all of that in. Those are operation costs for a cake. Everybody don't need a custom cake. So if you want a custom cake, you got to pay. The price is the price. And I'm not dummying that, because I'd rather take a nap and sleep at time with my kids than to work for free. Yeah, I am at the point I'm not working for free. So I don't like when I see people develop, because they feel like they just want the job. But at what cost are you really doing? You're really doing yourself a disservice, and you're devaluing. And my thing is, I know the value of my business. I know the value of my product. You're getting a damn good product. Prime example, you go to Gucci. Gucci is not going to say, oh, well, you know, Dawn, you don't have all the money. You could give us $500 and we'll take it. No, they're like, it's $1,000. You do what you want. Come back when you got that other $500. We'll be here. They're not dumbing down the price, because they feel like they have a value product. So either you see the value in it and you pay the money, or you don't. There'll be somebody else who pays it. And that's how I look at it. I'm not upset when people be like, oh, you expensive. Okay. I am. Thank you. God bless. And people are like, oh, I'm so sorry. I just can't see. I can't rationalize spending that money. I'm like, well, I totally understand. People want to apologize. I'm so sorry, but I can't. No need to apologize. It's just business. It's okay, because I'm going to go sleep tonight. It's okay. Because there are some people who, I've had people come back. They've gone to the cheaper baker, and they spent $250 for a cake, and that cake sat on that table, and when the party was over, it went in the garbage. Yep. Versus I've had people be like, I got to order a small cake from you because I had my birthday party and I didn't get to taste my cake. Nobody left me any pieces.
That's what happened to me. That's what happened to me. I was very upset about it too.
And I've had people upset.
As soon as I got home from the party, I'm like, well, where's the cake? And he's like, what cake? I said, the cake. Nobody brought the cake home. They said they ate the cake. They took all the cake. I'm like, leave me a piece. The whole cake I was so upset. That was the first time I've ever seen anybody eat all the birthday cake.
I went to a wedding. Well, I had the pleasure of being flown down to Georgia years ago, and I did a big 4-tier wedding cake. It was beautiful. And I was a guest at the wedding too. And it was funny because I never saw it. I've never witnessed it. And it was cool and it was hilarious at the same time because, you know, they slice up the cake and they put it on the table and then there was some empty seats and people were coming over to the table like, is this anybody's cake? And I'm like, no. And they were snatching the cake off the table and people were like going back. There was a line for more cake. And I was like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. That's like, and most people are like, right? Wedding cake is, cake is nasty. I don't eat cake. Or I've even had people say, oh, I don't eat cake. And then I'm like, oh, but your cake is different. Mm-hmm. So I do appreciate that people enjoyed it. You want them to enjoy it.
Got to witness that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I was like, these people losing their damn mind over a slice of cake.
The cake is good.
I'm like, wow.
The cake was very, very good. And I say it all the time. Everybody still talk about that cake.
And that's what the bride said. She said, they still talking about that cake 7 years later.
The cake was worth every penny. It was beautiful and it just tasted great.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
And he did a good job. I didn't even know. I said, what do you want? I said, I don't know what I want. He's like, you got to know what you want. He said, well, what do you want?
Right.
And then you just...
Tell me about yourself. Yeah. Always ask me, tell me about yourself. What kind of woman are you? Are you girly? Are you simple? Are you plain? Yeah. You can get a lot. Again, gotta have a conversation. You can't do that by email. No, you gotta have a conversation. And look, here I am sitting on your couch now.
That's right.
Years later.
Yeah, and I'm still talking about that cake. Well, I appreciate you coming.
Well,
I just can't wait to see what you do next. I mean, I know the cakes that's coming out are going to be fabulous, and I know pretty soon people are going to be commissioning you to come and do a cake out of retirement, and they're going to be charging. You're going to be charging them, and they're going to be paying, and they're going to be bragging. Who did your cake? Lady, she did my cake. She flew. Oh, I'm going to Paris to do a cake. I mean, it's going to happen.
And I
if
just
you
want
to, even if it's like one a month.
Yeah, and and that 1 and 2 a month. Yeah, 1 and 2 a month. I can do that.
If you could live off of it for a whole year.
That would be, I know. Wouldn't that be the life?
That would be the life.
Wouldn't that be the life?
And the cookies, though, you got to get these cookies out.
Oh, the cookies are coming out starting in June. I'm going to start doing I'm going to do small bags of 6, a bag of a dozen, and then a bag of 30. So they'll all have different price points depending on what kind of cookies. Like the banana pudding cookies, of course, will be a little bit more than the basic chocolate chip or the chocolate chip walnut. But look out for that. I'm going to be posting them soon, in the next couple of weeks to come. So
good.
Yeah. So red velvet, chocolate chip walnut, chocolate chip, chocolate salted pistachio, and banana pudding. Those are going to be the flavors. And eventually I'll add more, but those are what my greedy self want to eat right now. I told you, I bake according to what I want to eat.
That's why they're so good, I guess, too, because it's what you like.
Yes, what I like.
Right? And what we like, we make great.
Right, exactly. Because I'm going to eat another cookie when I get home.
Do you let other people bake for you?
No. Because I feel like they're going to mess it up.
You know, my mama used to say that. She's get home. She wouldn't eat nobody else.
You know, yeah. Well, I mean, so I have had other people's baked goods, but I will say I'm a bit of a snob, because I feel like now there's some people's stuff that I've had. And I'm like, ooh, this is good. But most of the time, and I always start off with like these high expectations. Like I went to birthday parties and it was a nice looking cake. So I was excited because also too, I like to refer other bakers. You know, when I can't do something, I refer other people to bakers. I don't know one now that I'm confident in, but years ago I did have one. So I was excited to try her stuff because I'm like, I was like, man, I hope it's good because then I can refer, because I don't want to refer nobody to no trash. And I ate that damn cake and I took a bite of it and I'm so upset. And I threw it in the garbage. It was dry. It didn't have any real flavor. It was like, and I feel like baking is like anything else. Anybody can play basketball, right? I go in the backyard and shoot some hoops with my son, but I am no good at it. I promise you. And I feel like the same thing with baking. I just feel like it's an art, you know, to get the flavors. It's just something that you have to really be able to do. So I feel like baking from scratch is not everybody's wheelhouse. Go get a box and add some water or something. Like, I don't know, but I just feel like when you talk about scratch baking, I think I know it's an art form because I've gotten better at it over the years. I've gotten really good at it, but I didn't start off, you know, even when I first started baking, it was all box. And then I started playing around and experimenting, and I was like, oh, even like I remember I used to bake cupcakes for my son for school. It was a box cake, and I took the Duncan Hines frosting, and to me that was baking. Now I know there's levels to baking. So, you know, just like that, everybody doesn't bake the same. I do appreciate a well-baked good, but for me and my birthdays, nobody's touching that. When I get married, nobody's doing a wedding cake. And what I'll do, I might bake it and then give somebody the ingredients and they can decorate it, but you cannot bake my cakes because I'm going to talk about you if it's nasty.
Okay. But you can allow them to decorate it.
Oh yeah, if I feel like you a beast with decorating, I'll let you decorate it.
Are there many though?
I have, but see, it's the it is it is like I guess the culture of like who you follow, like on social media. So my social media algorithm is very different from yours. Yes. All that comes up on my algorithm now is workout videos and cake videos. Before it used to just be cake videos. Now it's a little bit of both. So that's all I see. People be like, did you see X, Y, Z? I don't see that. I just see a bunch of strong ass women. So now I go down. I'm like, oh, that's a good workout. I need that. Oh, that's a good cake technique. So I do follow some women, even some women in New Jersey. I don't know what their cakes taste like, but they are some dope ass decorators. Oh, they do the damn thing. So yeah, I would be comfortable with giving it to them to decorate. I don't know what it tastes like, but yeah, they could decorate it. Even the woman that I said devalues her business, she's a good decorator. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't mind her decorating my cake. She's not as good as me, but she is good enough where I would feel confident with giving her my stuff and her decorating my cake. So yeah, there's some people out there. My hands ain't gotta be in everything all the time.
Well, I hope that you get to teach some of these young ones coming up, because people just don't know. They don't know what they don't know.
Right.
They don't know. From the cleaning, because you do the cleaning.
I'm OCD.
People don't understand that. Even when you talk about messing something up and starting over, some people would never start over.
They just keep going.
Mm-hmm. They're like, oopsie.
Oh, no.
Keep going. Mm-hmm. But all of that is important. Those are very important details. And I'm glad that you're doing the videos. And I enjoy watching them, because the lessons go beyond baking.
Mm-hmm. And, I try to have regular conversation.
Yes.
Just do regular crazy life stuff, and also throw in this is what's happening on this cake right now. Here's where we are. And I'm sleepy and I'm trying to retire. I always throw it in there. I'm tired. I'm still trying to retire.
Mm-hmm. I don't think they're going to let you know time soon, but at least they slow down.
Right. No, I've slowed them down. I'm like, oh no, I'm so sorry, I'm booked. I'm not booked. I'm just tired.
That's right. Your body got to get some rest.
Yes.
Between the exercising and the and the baking.
And the kids.
Well, thank you again. I really, really, really appreciate you.
Well, thank you for having me. It's always a good time over here.
And we're going to eat.
Oh, I can't wait. I love, do my fat girl dance. I love food.
All right, guys. Make sure you tune in next Tuesday, at Poochie's Place. We're on all social media platforms. We're on all podcast streaming platforms, and we're also on radio and YouTube. So like and follow the page, and you'll see the links to everywhere we are. And we're going to put up some links for you.
Okay, sounds good.
But she don't want to bake no cakes, y'all, unless y'all paying some real good money.
You got to pay the money.
She booked.
Booked and busy. Yes.
Booked.
I do.
Y'all got to plan ahead of time, man.
And it's only going to get worse, because now you're going to have to book me months in advance when I start doing them one a week.
Yes. They're going to have to get on it. Like what they say, you snooze, you lose.
Amen. And I don't feel bad. I have no problem with being like, oh, no, I'm so sorry. Keep me in mind for next time.
All right, deuces, guys.